Ugh, why is existing so expensive? Girl, why are you browsing? You know you can't buy this. Since when did coffee get so expensive? Girl, you're 25. You're like actually a full-grown adult now. Oh my god, and you're married. You have a legitimate husband. I mean, if I don't like it, I can just return it. Oh my god, is buying a house a trap? Bro, how did oat milk get so expensive? I can make this shit at home by myself, god damn. I mean, if I don't like it, it's so expensive. Return it, right? Alright, let's get this party started, shall we? For your reference, I've made notes. This is genuinely something that I struggle with. I am a sensitive soul, struggling half the time with just the way the world works. There's so many things that are very complicated that I just don't want to deal with. So, how to be uncomplicated in a complicated world. Number 1, stop getting hooked to luxurious lifestyles that we see on social media. You see all these people living a certain way and you start to think, I also want to live that way. And then you start chasing money and then you start chasing materialistic gains, which means you're not actually chasing happiness, you're chasing material gain that will never be long lasting. I think to be uncomplicated in a complicated world means to unclutter the mind. It's important to be mindful of all the things that you're putting into the brain, and that's why I had to mention social media right off the bat. It's all about mindset. Like, in order to be very simple, you don't let your brain ponder certain things that otherwise would stress you out. Pick and choose what you allow your body and brain to be part of. Okay, that lady just literally saw that I'm like talking to the camera and she's probably like, what the fuck is this bitch doing? But anyway, number 2, don't rush your ideas and your work life. I've noticed that I'm rushing my routines, or I'm rushing the shower, or I'm rushing eating breakfast. That's where a lot of the complications actually come in, because you're not allowing yourself to take a break and live in the present moment. As soon as I take an extra 5-10 minutes to just doing my morning routine, boom, all of a sudden things are not as complicated anymore. And I feel much more at ease. And a lot of these things that I'm going to be talking about have to do with the mind, because our mind is the one that makes things very complicated, right? Don't wake up and be in a rush to quickly get out the door. Give yourself enough time in the mornings. That will completely change your entire energy throughout the day and your demeanor. It will make such a big difference. Number 3, stop comparing yourself to others. Comparing yourself to others makes your brain go crazy. It's like this expectation you're putting on yourself to be a certain way, look a certain way, act a certain way. It just complicates the matter. And again, this goes to show that we're always like striving for the next thing, when in reality, we should be able to exist and also still have goals. We don't need to compare ourselves to other people. They are on their own divine path and you are on yours. If you are someone who is constantly comparing yourself to others and you're constantly shape-shifting and changing things you say, the lifestyle that you're living, you're actually not even allowing your own talents to come out. And there's only one you on this planet. So it's actually doing a disservice to everyone, because God made you very unique. When you're in alignment with what nature and the universe has intended for you, you automatically have a clearer brain and you're automatically not going to be so stressed out and overthinking things. Number 4, life is about up and down. When we are at a down phase, and as I like to call it, a rock bottom phase, we tend to spiral. We tend to think this is not where we're supposed to be. You're again cultivating negative energy, which means only negative energy is going to be attracted to you. I need to explain the concept of duality. For all the good in the world, there's also an equal and opposite force, which is all the bad in the world. When you have a up, just know that that's temporary. When you have a down, you should know that that's also temporary. Knowing this very simple concept and grasping it will really help your brain not overthink things. I started doing this with my own life, and I started to notice that I bounce back from my lows really quickly now because I allow myself to go through them. You have to feel the emotions that you go through in all of your phases because everything happens for a reason. And once you're able to let yourself feel the ups and downs of life, you don't get stuck in one area. You're gonna allow yourself to flow into the next thing, which is automatically going to be another high. Life's a roller coaster. There would be no happiness if there wasn't any sadness. Number 5. If you think and act out of love and compassion for others, life is easier. Oh, I love this one. Very, very true. The energy that you exude in the world is the exact same energy that's gonna come back to you. Next time you're out and about and you're in a grumpy mood, that literal energy, your literal thoughts, your literal intentions spread to everyone around you. We don't want that, okay? We want to be able to understand and reflect on the emotion that we're feeling instead of spreading and projecting. Now, this is a concept that's obviously really hard to start doing right away. If people understood how to do this, I don't think we'd have wars and all that shit. I had to share this in the video because if you are able to have genuine love and compassion for a stranger walking down the street, I promise you, you will feel that love from the world around you in different ways. It will come back to you because whatever you give out comes back to you. Things become simpler in your brain. It doesn't have to be so complicated. It's just unraveling our thoughts. And a lot of the times, love is the answer. And I know this sounds very cringy, but I've tried this out in my own personal life. And I've noticed that when I take a moment to step back from the anger or the sadness that I'm genuinely feeling in the moment, I can actually tap into this infinite love that's always around us. And it doesn't happen every single time, but when it does happen, let me tell you, it is one of the best feelings ever. Love is a frequency that you operate at. It is one of the highest frequencies that exist. To be able to tap into that will automatically help us as sensitive souls on this planet unravel the complicatedness in our brains and in our society. Number 6, walking outside in nature is free, right? Nature is there for us. Go hug a tree. I'm not joking. When I'm going on walks, I just touch a tree. The energy transfer that happens between me and the tree, I feel it. I immediately feel much more calm. The same thing can be achieved by just walking barefoot in your backyard, in your garden. There's actually a study that has proven that if you have a garden, you live longer or something. Like, take advantage of the summer months. The air around you literally sucks the thoughts out of your head. It's honestly like an energy cleanse. I've actually been learning more and more about energies. We are made out of energy. Really zoom into everything. We are made out of the same thing that the tree is made out of at a very microscopic level. There's a lot of cars coming by. Oh, that's awkward. I will end this segment off by saying that at the end of the day, you have to choose your hard. You can choose the hard of default living, feeling like you're in a rut and living a very complicated life because your brain is constantly bombarded by all these thoughts. Or you can choose to live the other hard, which is the healing hard, facing your demons and doing all the inner work hard, which is the forcing yourself to get into the habit of mindfulness. As someone who has chosen the latter avenue, I can tell you that it doesn't remain hard. There does come a point where things get easier. We can live in a complicated world but make things very uncomplicated for our own little curated world that we're living in. We are the main characters of our own life. Oftentimes, if you are a sensitive soul, that means you're an empath and you feel a lot of energy around you at all times, and you're susceptible to actually picking up these energies around you. There are techniques like these literal techniques that I wrote down are what help me stay grounded. Once you start figuring out what your grounding techniques are, you can become this vessel of light for other people, and you can actually increase the energy of the world. Also for yourself, you can start to heal yourself and live the life that you actually want to live. As humans on this planet, we have free will to a certain extent. Within that free will, it is our decision to live the life that you want to live. So at the end of the day, you have all the power, just a matter of doing it. It's getting really hot in the car and I'm starting to sweat. I'm gonna end the segment right there. So yeah, I think you guys get the point. We can uncomplicate the world in our minds and make the world around us magical, and be present in every moment and always come back to nature. I promise you guys, nature has some healing ass properties. Aside from that, I hope the tips in this video will help you guys, sending love from one sensitive soul to the next.